I'm looking at my phone, the device that tells creators if their work connects with anybody. And sometimes looking at it after publishing can feel extremely confusing because the numbers just don't match the effort. Which brings up a bigger question. How do you keep going even if your best work isn't connecting with anybody? Because after a while, low views stop feeling like feedback and start feeling like a signal to quit. And that is why I called up my friend Aidan. He spent years making thoughtful cinematic content that should have gotten 1 million views, but it didn't.
Every time I uploaded one of those long videos and it underperformed greatly, it really, really sucked, man.
But then a raw emotional video suddenly opened up a door for him, even though he was done. Which feels important to mention here, because sometimes people only make their best work after they quit. So let's look at the reality behind the content to find out what made people connect with him after he stopped trying so hard.
I'm so excited to have this conversation with you, Aidan, because it's been a long time coming to actually have you on the show as a guest. You and I have both been making content for, I don't know, at least 5 years, probably longer in some capacity. And recently, something really changed for you. And I kind of want to get into that, what happened, why it happened, and where you go from there. So yeah, excited to have you on the show.
Yeah, I can't wait to be on this side of it because I watch every episode. So it's kind of it's a bit peculiar actually, but in the best way.
The way I got to know you is as a very cinematic, very intelligent filmmaker who makes videos in this like self-development space. You've been making videos on and off for as long as I've known you, since at least 2021, and run into an issue that a lot of creators run into, where the quality is good, the content is good, but it's just not reaching enough people. Until very recently, from my perspective, it looked like you were done. You've given up, and you just had one more thing to say because of a very personal matter. And maybe we can just start there. Tell me a little bit about why you wanted to become a creator and what happened recently so we can see it from your perspective.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, back then I was really focused on YouTube. And I was trying to make these videos as cinematic as possible and using all my experience in working in television and film and marketing and advertising for many years. And I was like, right, the thing that's going to set me apart is I'm going to have these really high quality videos, like, very similar to like Matt Diavella and stuff. And in fact, I was also doing videos where I was testing things on myself, like I didn't eat for 5 days or like 3 months cold turkey on caffeine and things like that. And I really enjoyed doing these things. But I was sinking like 60, 70, 80, 100, even more hours into, planning. I would get other people involved. I would sometimes shoot in different countries or different locations. And I don't know, maybe release one video every 4 to 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And it would get to like the 100 view sort of mark, maybe 200. I was lucky, and then just crickets. To me, they were like very similar in quality to other creators who were getting millions and millions of views. And I just couldn't really figure it out. I couldn't understand what am I not doing rather. So it was a really annoyingly confusing time. And things started to change for me when I went to visit my friends in Boston, actually. And I stayed with them, and one of them's also a YouTuber, and she's got quite a considerable following. And we were looking at some of my videos. She said something. It really hit me deep, man. And she was like, you're making videos that are just like 5 years too late. And I was like, oh yeah, damn. Like if I'd been making those videos at the beginning, say of COVID, when people couldn't go anywhere and people were looking for like self-improvement around the home, it probably would have worked really well. It probably would have connected with people. But instead I was doing the stuff that Nathaniel Drew and, like I said, Matt Diavella and people were doing just 5 years, 6, 7 years later than them. So at this point, they've got that audience. They've got the people who look up to them, who listen to them, who just like their style, who find their content funny or good or interesting, right? And I'm just sort of coming in doing stuff that's been done before. And I never really thought about it like that. Even though I was bringing myself and my personality to it, it was the right videos at the wrong time. And I had to accept that, dude. And it was really, oh yeah, it was a tough pill to swallow, especially after trying for so long, you know. And so I started to slowly, I didn't want to stop doing personal growth stuff, but I couldn't do these long experiments and these long videos. And so I started to sort of experiment doing cinematic stuff on short form. And that kind of worked okay. It was going all right. And I actually ended up becoming or connecting and eventually becoming friends with my favorite creator on Instagram, funnily enough, just by circumstance, by chance. And that's, she's called Sarah Snow. And I joined her boot camp, but then I also went to a creative retreat in Nashville, Tennessee, where I got to meet her, and we did a collab reel.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, that was a great experience. A really wonderful, kind of bizarre experience to be meeting someone you really admire and look up to, and then be working with them, you know? And then the one thing that always confused me, and I'm sure many people hear this, is that people were saying, oh, your content is so good. Your videos are such high quality. I can't believe you don't have more followers.
Yes. That comment always like hurts a little bit.
It's said with the nicest intention, but it stings because you're kind of like, yeah, me too. I don't, yeah. You can see I'm even getting like physically a little bit like tense about this, because it confuses you. You're like, well, yeah, people are giving me such great feedback. People are really believing in me and supporting what I'm doing. This small selection of people, that is. But it's not reflected in the data. It's not reflected in the growth, in the metrics. So it's not like I resented that comment, but I just started to dislike it a little bit because I couldn't understand why everyone thought this stuff was great, but it wasn't really performing. It wasn't really reaching anybody. And then I decided okay, I'm going to maybe try and take a step back. But when you've worked in the video industry, TV, film, marketing, wherever, it can be really hard to just like get your phone and think, I'm just going to record something off the cuff, quote unquote, authentic. Because you're constantly thinking about lighting and framing and things to make it not authentic subconsciously because of the training that you have. So I kind of struggled to do that. And I tried it a little bit and it wasn't working either. And I think I was approaching it wrong, my mentality towards it. So it got to this point where I was sat on my bed at the place I was staying about 4 or 5 months ago now. And I just got my phone out and I was like, I have been trying for 6-7 years intensively, nonstop. Nothing I do is working. I am getting people telling me that I'm doing a good job, that the videos are good, that they're helping people, yet it's not reflected. And at some point, there has to be some kind of success. Otherwise, you give up.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to do, mate. I didn't know what to do. I was really, really kind of done with it. So I put the video out, essentially saying, I'm going to take 2 weeks off, which I hadn't done in years. And I'm just going to rethink what it even means to me. And maybe it's just not what I'm supposed to do. I want to do it, but maybe I'm not understanding it. I'm not speaking the language of these social media platforms. And therefore, I should maybe move on. I should, not allow myself to be in a sunk cost kind of situation, and try something different. So I put that video out. And then the 16th of February, my girlfriend was supposed to fly over to the UK to be with me, to we were going to live together. And on the 14th of February, 2 days before, ironically on Valentine's Day, she just called me up out of the blue. I know, right? She's called me up out of the blue and broke up with me. So I was like confused. I was in shock. I had grief, not just for the relationship I'd lost, but for the future and all the plans that we had. They'd gone in an instant like that.
Yeah,
just,
of course.
So I was really hurting and I didn't know really what to do about it. But I'd been on this personal growth journey for long enough that I was able to sort of psychoanalyze in real time and like look at how I'm feeling and what does it mean. Doesn't mean that it was easy. Just meant that I was able to talk about it and be vulnerable, maybe a little bit more than your average and probably more than your average man. So I walked into the barn and I just got my phone out and I just spoke about what had just happened to me and what I was feeling in that moment. That was the first video after saying I was going to take 2 weeks off. And then I put my phone down and I tried to distract myself for the rest of the day. And the next day I pick up my phone and I open Instagram, and it's just like hundreds, thousands of notifications. Like that video started to go viral.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And somehow I was starting to get this success that I'd craved for so long, but I was in a place where I didn't give a shit because I was heartbroken. So you would have thought, oh, that's going to make him feel better. It didn't. But what it did do was show me how connected the internet can be. And if you're putting out the right message, you can have a corner of the internet or a corner of Instagram or whatever that can be a really supportive and healing place that does have a few trolls, but generally has really friendly, beautiful people who just want to help. They see someone in pain and they want to help, or they want to start talking to each other and build community that way and help each other. And I start to see this in the comments. So I start to document my entire sort of like breakup recovery, the stages I was going through, the things I was feeling, the things I was thinking, the days I started to feel a bit better, the days I started to feel worse again, and just document this. And it started to grow each video. And this can be hard for some people to learn. I am one of those people. It was tough for me to figure this out. But I realized that after all this time, the packaging, which I'd spent so much time focusing on, was so much less important for me and my content than the message. What I was saying, what I was feeling was so much more important than the lens I was using or the camera I was using or how I was structuring your script or how long I was taking to write that script and how long I did in the edit and putting in certain visual effects and stuff. No, if I was just honest and talking to camera about the things I'm thinking about, it resonated with people so much more. And it kind of made me realize that after all this time, I had a formatting problem. And I never realized that. And I don't know if I ever would have realized that if something hadn't happened to me that just eliminated, like I told you, we have to unlearn a lot of stuff. If I hadn't have had an experience that was traumatic, that allowed me to just forget all of that training and all of that stuff and just pick up my phone and just record it and not give a crap if it looks bad or it sounds bad or anything. I don't know if I ever would have got to this realization, to be honest. And then slowly that sort of takes us up to where I am now. And now it's sort of, I lose followers each day, but I gain more followers each day. So it's a slow growth, which is awesome. And it's building up a bit of a community here. And it's going in the right direction finally. And I'm also starting to understand more about like how I can be myself and how to present my thoughts and ideas and what I'm learning to other people. So yeah, that's the story so far.
That is a story that now arrived at a point where it has a turning point. I want to look at this moment where it's the morning after you posted the reel and you pick up your phone again. Every person opens Instagram 500 times a day, right? And usually it's nothing happening on there. It's just a little hit of dopamine or just like, give me a tiny bit of entertainment. So what I want to know from you is like, how did that feel when you picked up the phone and like you saw those hundreds, thousands of notifications? What was that moment like and what was going through your head?
I think for me, I immediately felt overwhelmed because I wasn't used to it. And don't forget, I hadn't picked up my phone for 2 weeks. I hadn't even opened Instagram for 2 weeks, which was the longest period in like years for me. So other than to upload that initial breakup video, when you open your phone and there's thousands of likes and hundreds, thousands, whatever of comments and, and loads of DMs and such, it's overwhelming because you don't know where to start and you want to reply to everybody, but you naturally you miss a couple of comments and there's loads of DMs and there's like a wide range of kind of like comments and people, in my case, people trying to console me, make me feel better, give me advice. But at the same time, there's people saying, dude, why are you talking about feeling sad, dude? Just get over it, like man up. And I, you know me, I don't subscribe to that bullshit.
And I know you want to respond to every comment in a meaningful way, not just say thanks or like, heart it or whatever.
Yeah, I still do that now. I try to respond to every single comment, and especially every DM, and a lot of them with voice notes, because people are like, they're reaching out to me. So I want to try my hardest to reach out. But funnily enough, I'm actually going to make a video about the fact that I can't keep doing this, because as it grows, it's taking over me, even making videos, trying to reply to everybody. So I need to figure out like how to balance that going forward.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, that first, it was crazy, man. It was crazy. And I didn't really know what to do about it. All I knew was that I had so many other thoughts going on that I had to record more videos, because for me, it was therapeutic in a way to get my thoughts out of my head. And it kind of sounds egotistical, but it's not that way at all. When I'm watching myself back, I can understand how I'm feeling better than when it's just in my head. I guess similar to if somebody journals or something and then, they get it out of them. For me, my form of journaling is recording a video, but I'm so comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really helping me do this as well as record the videos, and then to know other people are going through the same thing that you are. That, I think it just brought me a lot of peace through, I guess, camaraderie, perhaps. Yeah, and it didn't stop, like it went up to like 20, 30,000 and then to 50,000. And I don't know what it's on now. I think maybe it's over 400 or it's 500,000 or something crazy. It's bonkers. And then everything I did after that started to pick up too, because I actually think people started following along the healing journey. They realized what was happening. So they followed along to see, how is this guy going to get better? What's he going to do?
There's so many factors that play into that video resonating with people, but why do you think people cared about it all of a sudden? Why did random strangers, send you DMs all of a sudden, right? What was different to what you were doing before? Take me a layer deeper.
Well, first off, I think seeing somebody in distress like that is watchable for the right or the wrong reasons. It's just, it's entertaining to some. It's interesting to others. It opens up curiosity in many people as well. Like, why is this person upset? The fact that I was a man talking about my feelings on this side of the breakup, I think it's unusual.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that other guys don't do it. It's that just there's not many of us really doing it.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people were interested in hearing that side of the story, or hearing like, oh, so this is a guy who's been broken up with. How is he feeling about it? He's openly admitting that he's very upset. He's confused. He's got grief. He's struggling. And that he doesn't have the answers, because that's important too. It wasn't a lesson for people either. It was just, book. This is how I'm feeling in this moment. I don't know what to do. I'm just going to share what I'm feeling, and hopefully I figure it out in the future. And then, of course, other people who were going through something similar or had gone through something over the past 3, 6, whatever months, they felt connected because they understood exactly what that's like. Or people who have been through a breakup before could kind of resonate, even if they've moved past it enough that it doesn't hurt anymore. I think it became a place for a lot of people to feel seen and understood. So I actually think for many people, it wasn't me. It wasn't anything really to do with me that made them connected. It was what I was talking about, and the feelings and that sort of emotion that comes along with grief. And like I said, it became a really supportive place, the comment section. Actually, on most of my videos, it's really, really awesome like that. And it was raw. Like, I literally stood up, went to the barn, got my phone, and I started speaking. In that moment, I didn't care about all of the traditional things you're supposed to do. I didn't care about captions or hashtags or hooks or length or music, or none of that was a thing. None of that was a thing. And it still performed well. All the stuff that we go crazy thinking about as creators, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. The only thing for that video that mattered was that it was honest, vulnerable, and real, and people could connect to it.
You know, that feeling of being seen and having a place to be open and raw is exactly why I started the Creator Trust Club. A place where we get together once a month to talk about the reality behind the content and share ideas and experiences openly. If that sounds interesting to you, you can become a member for it today. The link is down in the description, and I really hope to see you there.
We both have intellectualized content for uncountable hours. And it's like thinking about what's working right now, analyzing other channels, making a whole content strategy, figuring out the ideal audience, all the marketing and filmmaking stuff that both you and I deeply, deeply know to very mid success, right? And then you just like, well, I'm screw everything. I just need a place to air my grievances.
Yeah.
And like you just needed something. You just need an outlet for your very strong emotion. That emotion, that raw, unfiltered moment is what brought people into your orbit, right? That like connected with people. You and I already talked about the personal side of things, right? But like for this conversation, I do want to focus a little bit on the content side. Like if people are interested in your emotional state, I think the Instagram is a better place to figure out.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, how do you continue from that? Do you like, oh shit, I just gotta feel miserable and make content about it? Or like, when does the strategist brain kick in? Like, did you immediately like, oh, okay, great, let's turn this into like a 10-step plan?
Yeah.
Or did you just continue to ignore all the best practices and just leaned into your emotions and made something when you felt like it? Like, this idea of create like a child, or create without any preconception, is really good
Ooh.
advice. But like, how does that look like in a day to day?
So one thing that I did pretty early on is I don't know about an Android thing, but on the iPhone
Sure.
there's this little button here. I don't know if you can see that. This one at the top, just there.
Yeah.
The action button, maybe it's called. I'm not sure, but you can customize that to whatever you want. So I made it so that when I press that, it creates a note that goes into a folder called Content Thoughts.
Okay.
And anytime I have a thought about anything, or I'm feeling a certain way, or anything like that, I press that button, I voice note, it dictates, and it drops into that folder. And then at the end of the day or at the end of the week, I'll go through the folder and delete the ideas that I don't like and make the other ones into videos. If I can't shoot it impulsively, like if I was in a shopping center, I'm probably not feeling so brave to go on camera if I'm feeling upset. So I'll wait and record that later. But if I'm making cereal on my own, maybe I'll just record it right there and then. So I had that, so I could impulsively do things. And I was not thinking about anything to do with all of the traditional things you're supposed to think about. I just forgot everything. Screw the hooks, screw the length. If I wanted to put music on it, I did. I did not use trending audio. I used the music that I thought fit the reel better. But I was a little bit worried. I was thinking, where do I go from here?
Yeah.
At the moment, I can talk about my breakup and I can talk about the up days and the down days because I'm going through it. But eventually, I'm going to start feeling better. Then what happens? Does everyone just leave? Or, And I feel that a lot of the time, people find your account through a topic. But and they might just like subscribe or they might follow you. And then the ones that don't unfollow you, they start to like you, for your personality. So they sort of stick around because of the topics you're talking about. Or maybe it's just because you are funny, or the way you look, or the way you sound, or they just resonate with you, And I started to see this, and I know this for a fact because people would actually tell me. Be like, oh, your smile's really nice, or oh, I really like the way you sound, or oh, I really like that you can talk about the way you're feeling, or you put things in a way that I can understand. And I'm just being me. But I think they just resonate then with who I am, and they stick around. The people who don't, they just unfollow. And kind of like I said at the beginning of this conversation, like I think at the moment I have maybe 20 to 40 unfollows a day and maybe like 50 to 100 follows. So it skews up, but I still have loads of people that maybe they found me during a breakup, but now they're feeling better and they've unfollowed me. And that makes sense too. I'm just not really for them. But I was thinking like, one thing that came to my mind initially was, well, how can I help all these people that are going through something similar? So I created a group on School, the platform, called the Breakup Club. And I started to do some lives, which terrified me a little bit, but I started to do some lives on Instagram called the Breakup Club, where I could just answer questions, or people in the audience could answer questions. And this proved successful. And the Breakup Club, I think we only had about 15 members, but they came into it and we did some like group chats in there, and that really helped. I wasn't facilitating it in terms of like a therapist would, because I am not a therapist. I do not have that training. I was more like just opening the platform for people to share, and other people could talk to each other and just listen and make sure people felt less alone. And that was great. But I stopped it after like a couple of months because it wasn't what I wanted to do anymore. And so it was right for me at that time and for those people. And then we stopped it, and I'm still friends with some of those people, which is really wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was thinking, well, okay, so what happens now? I like to talk about the good things too. I like to talk about friendship and the other emotions that I have, and like figuring things out and travel. And at the end of the day, I still want to explore my emotions and talk about them. But if it's not a breakup thing, or I'm not showing a video where I'm in pain, will it work?
Yeah.
So I sort of, this was probably the first time I started thinking strategically since everything happened, since the growth began. I saw this video, which was just somebody sat down outside a cafe, and it said testing the solo table theory. And I read the caption and I thought, it was okay. It was all about like being present and sitting with yourself and getting more comfortable being alone, even if people are looking at you and such. And as someone who travels full time, I understand what this is like. And many people don't realize that I started traveling full time about 3 years ago because I suffered with loneliness really bad, to the point of like depression. So I ended up leaving so I could find community. It's part of the reason that we met as well.
Yeah.
And so I understand this, like being alone and trying to reframe it, for your own benefit. So I was like, right, I'm going to try this. I'm going to rewrite that person's caption. I don't agree with it. I'm going to write it from my perspective and see what happens. And I released that video, and over time that one starts to go viral too. And actually way more than my initial first one. I think it's at like maybe 2 million views or something now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mad. And then I realized that like, it's less about me showing pain or talking about a specific topic like breakup. And it's more about, I can just connect with people if I'm just myself. And maybe if I'm not too curated or I'm not too scripted, I still want to do those videos. They don't perform as well, but I enjoy them. But very rarely will I do them. Now I feel like if I'm speaking from my heart and being honest, I think it will connect with people. And also, I think once you start to grow, Instagram starts pushing your stuff out to more people, because then I started to get comments and likes on videos from a year ago.
Oh, interesting.
Dude, get this. The same videos that performed really bad started performing pretty well. So I think when you start to see a little bit of success, Instagram starts pushing everything that it didn't in the past. And, I sometimes wonder if the algorithm was personified. Would it be going like, oh, oops, we should have pushed that back then. We would have got more views. So yeah, I think now I understand that like I can kind of release my take on things that are performing well, or just the way I'm thinking about things, and understand very much so that like on average I might get 1,000 to 5,000 views, and then I get one that's 10 to 50, and then a couple that are, six figures. And that's okay. And that's just how it is. It's kind of like that ebb and flow is natural and normal. And yeah, I think I can now talk about anything within my sort of niche, if it's about emotions or personal growth. And it performed relatively well. Definitely a hell of a lot more than better than like 4 months ago, that's for sure.
This kind of closes the loop to like the beginning, where it's like, yes, what I make is good. What I have to say is interesting to people. There's just a layer between me and the people who resonate with it. And now you've opened the door and it's just like, oh, look, there's more stuff. You can connect with me. But then again, on the flip side, this can also probably fade away as fast as it comes, right? So what's your next move? Are you now a professional creator? Like, is this like becoming a business, or are you just enjoying sharing your personal journey and, don't worry about the business side. Just like enjoy that you've made something that people resonate with?
So I have 3 things, I think, for this account and what it's going to be going forward. The first is that the content will have no strategy. I'm just going to record what I want to talk about, how I'm feeling. And I test things out all the time. I tested out one called 39 Starting Over, and it didn't perform very well. I moved it into a new series called Moving Forward, which is doing better and better. And if I want to try a comedy thing, I'll just do it. Because I'm finding now that more and more the people that are connecting and staying around is because they resonate with me. And I see this in like great messages and comments and DMs and such. So I feel like I can just voice the way I'm thinking about things. But at the same time, I don't want to like discredit myself. I've been like trying to figure out personal growth on myself publicly for like 6 years now. I'd say that I have a good level of emotional intelligence, like, without sounding egotistical or anything, just because of like what I've been trying to do and showcasing my failures just as much as my successes. And I constantly get stuff wrong. The only difference is I just own it. I'm honest about it. And I think with my account, I'm just a normal person who's maybe just a touch more along their personal growth journey than the person watching. I'm absolutely not a doctor or a psychologist or a therapist or anything like that. So I'm not preaching. I'm not necessarily giving advice more than I'm just talking about my own lived experience. That being said, I do coaching for people who are stuck.
Okay.
So the account itself in the videos, I'm going to try things. I'm just going to do kind of what I want and talk about what I want. It just happens to be within personal growth and exploring emotions. There's no real strategy to that. That's just how that is. And I'm going to just not worry about it. I'm not worried about hooks. I'm not worried about anything like that. I've like sort of dropped that. And it's somehow now it feels very nice and natural to not be worried about those kind of things. I do have coaching clients, but most of the time they just find me, usually through the content. So I will be doing some content around coaching and helping people get unstuck, and probably doing a couple of videos that just push people towards that.
What I really want to know here, what I struggle with is I see so many of my friends, of so many creators having kind of a similar story, in particular with short form content, right? And the whole yapping style content is super trendy now. And I just can't get on with short form content. It's not in my DNA, I want to say, of how I think, how I create. It's funny that you mentioned it. You just basically use it as a journal, because what I started doing is doing voice notes, but just to myself. And I don't want to record them on video and share them with the world. As I said, try to spend less and less time on Instagram, because it's not making me feel better. I don't think it's a productive use of my time. And both you and I really value YouTube and put a lot of energy into horizontal video, let's call it that. Is that something you are thinking about struggling with? Are you thinking like, ooh, and then we can bridge it to YouTube and maybe get something going there? Or it's just like, whatever. We are in a time where everybody's swiping on their phone, and let's just go with it.
I have a plan for YouTube. I'm going to tell you right now. It's going to freak you out.
Okay, tell me.
So, as we discussed at the beginning of this podcast, my really long, very high quality videos on YouTube that took me 70, 80 plus hours to create, I would have never thought that I would find connection and success with people and with a platform on short form. Certainly not Instagram, or TikTok. And I love YouTube, and it's where I always wanted to grow. But if I've started to learn that I have this packaging problem, is there a way that can translate, that knowledge can translate to YouTube, to horizontal, longer form? There's an experiment I want to try. And I actually released a video recently where I wasn't worried about audio quality because I was in a noisy cafe and I recorded on the front camera of my phone. And stop me if you've heard this before. You need to use the back camera. Like, dude, relax. No, I just recorded on the front camera of my phone, and I just spoke for about 6 minutes or something like that. If I have a thought or I want to talk about or discuss a topic or something like that, I'm just going to set my phone up in like horizontally Maybe I've got a coffee or I'm making a sandwich, or who knows. And I'm just going to talk. I'm just going to talk as if somebody's having a FaceTime call with me, or as if I'm just sat with a friend. And if there's a 5-second pause where I'm thinking of the next thing to say, I'm not going to jump cut it. I'm just going to keep it in there. And I'm going to experiment with this. I've just moved into a house. So I've got a place where I can actually just do some of this longer form stuff. And I'm just going to experiment with recording these longer takes on a topic of something I'm thinking about and see what happens, and not be tied to the results in any way. And you know what? Strong chance it doesn't work on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
But the things I've thought would work in the past never did. So what if something I think doesn't or can't ever work might? So that's my plan for long form. Maybe I don't even post about it on Instagram, so I don't bring any of those audience members over. Instead, just release it. And the thumbnail is just the first frame of the video, and or a random frame throughout. Maybe I just let YouTube pick.
Going old school.
Just going old school, and the title is just whatever the hell I want it to be.
Yeah.
Maybe there's not even a description, because I'm guessing it's doing similar thing to the short form content. It's like transcribing everything, and it's using that to sort of like push things out, right? So I think maybe I just do one video or one long form video a week, or 2 a week, because it's going to take me a total of like 15 minutes, 8 minutes to record it, the rest of the time to upload it and write a little description. And so that's my strategy going forward. Like, I remove all of the stress and the upset out of it, because I'm an emotional guy. So every time I uploaded one of those long videos and it underperformed greatly, it really, really sucked, man. It really hurt me.
Yeah.
It really, every single time. And I don't know how I end up going for so long. I don't know how any of us do, to be really honest with you, because eventually you get to the point where you're sat in your bed recording to your phone saying that you want to give up. So yeah, that's my strategy for YouTube. I don't know if it's going to work. Probably won't, but I'm not going to be upset if it doesn't. I want to use it as a bit of an experiment and see, because it's working. Seems to me that people resonate with me in that format, in that way. So maybe that can translate over to YouTube.
Yeah. Seeing a number that's much lower than your expectations, it's just hard. It's just like, yes, you can intellectualize, and it's like, this is not valuing you as a person or your craft or whatever. It's hard to decouple that. And it's just like, you think you're doing everything right, but it's just not creating the result it should. It's just like, well, fuck it. Like, let's just throw something at the wall, or let's just stop altogether, because I've tried everything else, right?
Yeah. And I can only speak to my experience on this, but I think the advice of just stay consistent, I actually don't believe it's good advice, honestly. Because if you're staying consistent with something that's not working, it's just going to keep not working. Unless you're lucky, or there's a particular topic that seems to pop off or something like that. But I kind of think it's best to be testing and trying, and be in a position where you can do that. And it's hard when you're trying to build a brand and build a format. It's very hard to be inconsistent in that way. But I also think that anyone who wants to be a creator is an artist, and they've got a paintbrush, and they've got paint, and they've got a canvas, and they're making painting after painting after painting, and just no one's buying it. Not many people are looking at it. But just because you're an artist doesn't mean that you have to only be a painter. Maybe they're a musician. Maybe if they pick up a piano, people start to resonate with what they then create. Or maybe they are a chef and they start to create certain food, and then people start to really resonate with what they create. And it's not that they're not being creative, they're not being a creator. It's just that maybe they haven't found the right tools or format to present their creativity in a way that other people can understand and can connect to. And I think so many of us creators, we try only one thing, maybe 2, but we don't test and try enough.
Or you don't want to, you feel like I have a podcast. I don't want to, scare everybody away who is watching by making something completely different. You want to stay consistent. You want to show people what they come for, right? And then all of a sudden it's like, nope, I made a pivot here. And it can feel scary and it can feel daunting and it can feel like you're taking a step that is irreversible. But the way you said it's just like, if you have been consistent and have not gotten any results, that will very likely continue.
Unfortunately. I mean, you can test and try many different things and then it still take a long time. I'm going to tell you some of my failures. These are video series I did at least 15 episodes of,
Okay.
many times more. The vegan food review. I'm not vegan anymore, but I was for 4.5 years, and I reviewed vegan food. Daily vlogs or weekly vlogs. What else? I did a movie review series.
Okay.
I did this series where I was doing experiments and tests on myself. I had a podcast called The Curious Club.
Yeah.
Which I recorded. Yeah, I recorded lots of episodes, and it just, none of these things. I gave them enough time to try. It wasn't that I did 1 or 2 episodes and it didn't work immediately. Like I said, 15, 20, 30 episodes of each of these things just to see. And if it didn't go up, if it just stayed the same or got less, it wasn't working. So I was always okay to keep testing and trying. It took me 6-7 years to finally figure out something that worked. Some people will be able to do that for a lot longer than I could. Some people a lot less. But I think if you are testing and trying different things, different ways to express yourself, different topics, like you could be interested in many different things. And people might not resonate with you in the way you talk about films and film reviews, but they might resonate with the way you talk about traveling to hotels, for example. And then that could be your thing, as long as that's something that you are generally interested in and can continue to talk about because it interests you, or you can find ways to evolve with that topic, And this is the only thing I think works: testing and trying, and then being persistent, rather than just being consistent with one thing that isn't really resonating.
What I want to know from you now, with where you are, with the failures in your past and with your recent success and with the new friends you've made, what does success look like for you?
Success is 2 things for me with regards to my social media anyway. The first is that it's in some way financially viable, whether that's routing people to coaching, and I can only take on a small amount of clients anyway, or I have 1 or 2, say, brand sponsorships, collaboration partners where I'm making really good videos that I really believe in with somebody or a brand or a service or a product that I really do use and believe in. That'd be wonderful on that side of things. And on the other side is figuring out ways going forward to help as many people as possible. Like, I can't comment and continue to reply to every DM, but is there some way that I can? Or maybe not me, but like, could I build a team where we can be there for people, or a platform or an app or something? Can I make it free to use if I can fund it through the other stuff that I do? Who knows? I don't know, but I do know that I get great fulfillment from helping people. It's why I trained to coach, I don't know what that looks like, but I know that figuring that out and implementing it is, in my mind, in my eyes, what success is for me. Because it's helping me and it's helping other people. And if I can make it financially viable, then I've got my ikigai,
Yeah.
I'm right in the middle of that Venn diagram, just all namaste, being like, yes, this is the life.
Love it. Love it.
Now, as always, there's an extended version of this conversation over on the Patreon, the Creator Trust Club. There, we also have a call once a month where we talk about the reality behind the content. If that sounds interesting to you, the link for that is down in the description, and I really hope to see you there. Because the effort does not match, because the numbers don't match the effort. Because the numbers, yes, the numbers. If that sounds interesting to you, become a member today. The link for it is down in the description.